What is up, guys? It is Yuli. Today I'll be ranking the films that I've seen in 2025 through the second quarter. Before we go further in, I want to let you guys know that these films are my opinions and my opinions only. So if you disagree with any of them, please kindly share your comments in the comment section below. And I would like to put a spoiler warning, so if you haven't seen any of these films, now would be a good time to hop off this video. However, before we start the ranking, please be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any new videos heading your way. The tiers for this ranking video are Oscar Gold, meaning the film is great, is deserving of an Academy Award. Pop Culture, meaning the film is good, but it's only worth remembering through TV and social media. It's alright, meaning the film isn't good or bad, it just needs improvement. Don't Bother, meaning it's not really worth watching. Hot Garbage, meaning the Emoji Movie was good all of a sudden. To kick off the second quarter, let's talk about a Minecraft movie. Okay, so now one can say that I'm happy that this is a good film to start this ranking video and to start my second quarter of watching 2025 movies. But others can say this wasn't really the best choice, but you know what, I don't care. This movie gave me heavy amounts of nostalgia when I went to go see this. It was really beautiful seeing live action actors in a Minecraft environment. So breathtaking, actually. I love Jack Black playing the titular character in Steve, and I loved his character development that Jared has put into it. I love Jason Momoa as Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison. He was really funny in this role, I'll tell you that. I love Rachel House as Malgosha. This is a stacked cast with Jack Black, Jason Momoa, Sebastian Eugene Henson, Emma Myers, and Danielle Brooks. And I kind of thought Jennifer Coolidge was a funny casting choice. Some of the dialogue was funny, but I feel they could have put more into the story and put more into Emma Myers and Danielle Brooks' character's development, but overall, this is alright. Now, I know this might sound like it's going Oscar Gold, well, for my opinion only, but you guys might be thinking this is going to go in pop culture. It's going to go in pop culture. I can only see this being nominated for Best VFX and for the new category Best Casting. That's about it. But honestly, Jared Hess knows how to beat Disney in a video game 1-2 punch since Snow White freaking bombed. We'll be putting this in pop culture. Next up is A Working Man. So after a year of The Beekeeper, David Ayer is back with Jason Statham to produce yet another big project. Which honestly, why does David Ayer make so many bad projects? He made Suicide Squad, Beekeeper, and now this? Really? Now I feel David Ayer continued The Beekeeper with this movie, because I thought it was interesting to have the story about Jason Statham rescuing a girl who got kidnapped and everything. But it was approached like really weird. And it probably isn't an inspiration to people who are survivors of this. And the acting, I feel, was not really that good. I feel if David Ayer wants to make a good movie that can get him like Oscars or awards, or maybe just be remembered in like a positive way, he should just start cooking with an original story and just do what movie studios do when it comes to a subject like this. You know, like hold interviews and write a memoir about it, or maybe get comments from people about it. Actually, I think that might be the same thing I said. I don't know. Now, I can go on and on about why this movie needs improvement, but to be honest, I'm not going to because I got more of these movies to rank. So we're going to be putting this in Don't Bother because this movie just sucked. Next up is The Amateur. Now, this is better than A Working Man, except the plot isn't about a kidnapping, it's about John Wick, except John Wick is a CIA agent and he just found out his wife died. So it's kind of reversed from his dog getting killed. Now, I had some high hopes for this movie when I saw the trailers and when I walked into the theater, and this is how I perfectly imagined Rami Malek after Mr. Robot. And going from hacker to CIA agent is so funny because if you hack into someone's accounts and everything like that, it's called a crime. That's really funny. Now, I thought this movie was alright, but you know, a great casting choice was Lawrence Fishburne. And I feel like he has so much experience when it comes to a movie like this. Some of the scenes were epic, and this made it a good spy thriller. Others were alright nonetheless, but I feel like the story is really epic overall, and it's way better than A Working Man. Now, this might sound like it's going in pop culture, but it's not. Because while the movie was good, it's going to go in it's alright, because, yeah, so it's going in it's alright. Next up is Warfare. Oh my, I am so ready to review this. I have not seen a movie this good since The Hurt Locker, 1917, and Dunkirk. Man, I think I just like war films altogether. I don't know. Ray Mendoza telling his military stories to Hollywood is such a great idea. I mean, that's Hollywood in general, but we don't care. This movie gave me heavy anxiety when it came to the war mission and everything. Well, the beginning wasn't really a war mission, it was just the soldiers just being horny and everything, but the rest of the movie was pure anxiety. Now, I saw this letterbox review saying sound design is a powerful drug, and I heavily agree because the sound design was perfect and goated. And the anticipation made me grip my seat in the movie theaters. Like, I don't know what I'm expecting in war films, but since I just love them, I guess I just want to be surprised about bombings or killings or anything like that. Now, this was a fun watch in theaters, I'm not gonna lie. I really love the casting of Emmy winner Defera Wunatai as Ray Mendoza, and I love Michael Gandolfini as Lieutenant McDonald. Now, you could probably tell this is a heavy favorite for movie of the year for me. Hell, this might even make my top 10, not gonna lie. We've still got 2025 left, so it's never too late to add it to your top 10 list. And I feel everything about this movie was entertaining. In fact, it made me feel like I was playing Call of Duty or Fortnite, games like that. And this movie is really entertaining given that I come from a family with a military background. So this was a really fun watch. So we're going to be putting this in Oscar Gold, which is in fact the first movie that's on there, surprisingly. Next up is Sinners. Now, I cannot wait to talk about this one, low-key. It's probably the heaviest favorite of movie of the year for me. After his success with directing and producing Creed and Black Panther, Ryan Coogler came back with a hit right here. And after I saw this in the theater, I called it Twilight, but in Mississippi. And I feel like that's perfectly accurate. Well, actually, I don't know about perfectly accurate because, both are about vampires, but I feel like Twilight is more about mythical creatures than sinners. Who knows? I love Michael B. Jordan continuing his great acting performance in Ryan Coogler's movies. I love Haley Steinfeld's performance as a Southern woman in this movie. Given that I don't really see her as a Southern woman, in my opinion. I only see her as like a regular happy-go-lucky teenager. I don't know, that's just me. And I love the Christianity portrayed in this movie. The message of never forget who you are is well told in this movie. And it's also the fact that Ryan Coogler wrote this in 2 months last year. That's actually some real stuff right there. Ryan Coogler's movies are always told in cultural perspective, and I really love this with the dance scene through many cultures, with the blues music, with the Christianity. Everything about this was really well told. This is overall a great film, so much so Ryan Coogler has a case for an Oscar sweep right here. So we're putting this in the Oscar Gold. And I really hope that the Academy can listen this time now that they're forced to watch the films, if this gets nominated. Next up is Thunderbolts. After the disaster that was Captain America Brave New World, Marvel got redemption on this movie right here. Now, I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus in this movie. I love how she's a congressman who's about to face impeachment. And I feel Julia Louis-Dreyfus kind of carried from her role in Veep. And I love Florence Pugh continuing her role as Yelena. And David Harbour continuing his role as Red Guardian as well. And I love how Jake Schreier continued John Walker's story about him being a terrible dad. Actually, now give it Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell are both bad dads in the MCU. Like, they don't know how to parent. I love the mental health message that Kevin Feige and Jake Schreier put in this movie, and the addition of Sentry as well. Marvel Studios got heavy redemption after Captain America Brave New World, that I kind of wish days after they didn't advertise this as the new Avengers, because Kevin Feige is very liberal about not spoiling movies, but, you know, I don't care. But overall, this is a hit. So we're going to be putting this in pop culture. This is not going in Oscar Gold because I don't think it's at that Oscars level yet. So we're going to be putting this in pop culture. Next up is Black Bag. So years after Traffic and Ocean's 11, Steven Soderbergh continues to release hit after hit with this one. And it's kind of unfortunate I missed out on this in the theaters. So it's unfortunate that I also had to go on Peacock to watch this. Oh well. I love the casting of Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett in this movie. And not only as a married couple as well, but also as the main leads of this movie. And you know, this is actually my first time hearing Michael Fassbender's actual voice, because I actually wasn't expecting him to have an accent. Well, actually, I was kind of expecting him to have an accent because he's Irish, but you know what, let's just move on and talk about the next. I love the overall story development of Catherine possibly betraying her husband and the UK. And I love the polygraph scene where George got tense with the person conducting it, along with the therapy with Dr. Vaughn. The climax was really well written and really well directed by Steven Soderbergh. But the ending I feel was a little dry, if you think about it. I'm not really a fan of spy movies, but you know, this is actually a fun watch. And I wish I really saw this in theaters, but it's okay. So we're going to be putting this in Oscar Gold. Next up is Fight or Flight. Honestly, I don't know what to say about this movie other than it feels like a David Ayer movie. Now, I'm not going to fully criticize this movie because I feel like there were some enjoyable parts in this movie, but there were also some parts where I was just on my phone in the theaters. But at the same time, I'm starting to feel like James Madigan was copying and pasting the story of Bullet Train into this movie. And I can see that there was some comedy in this film, and I feel the comedy was alright. And I think Josh Hartnett played an alright protagonist in this movie, but, you know, most of the time he was just acting like himself. Now, I know I might be putting this in the same league as Bullet Train and John Wick, but I'm not. In fact, I might be trashing this movie a little too much, but some positive thoughts, it's alright. And, you know, we're going to put it in that category, so we're putting this in it's alright, because this movie wasn't good, wasn't bad, just needs improving. Next up is Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I can't wait to talk about this one because this, in my opinion, is the best in the franchise. And I actually mean that. You see, I actually love the whole origin story about how death came to be in the Final Destination franchise. And I love how it's about a college student imagining the origin premonition. And what I love is the main character wasn't seen until late in the movie. That's actually what I really love about movies, is that whenever a character is in distress, the supporting characters don't even believe her until like late in the movie. I love that. And I love the story of overcoming generational trauma when it comes to a subject like this. And I love how gory and violent the death scenes were in this movie. In fact, I have a fear of garbage trucks now after watching that character get smushed, and I've always had a fear of MRI machines. Trust me. Now, I'm not gonna lie here when I say I got emotional when I saw Tony Todd on the screen one last time, and his last few lines that were unscripted. Everything about this movie is worth the 14-year wait, and everything about this movie is golden. And I know this might sound like it's going to Oscar Gold, but really it's not. I only see this being nominated for like best visual effects, and that's only it. But this is going to be remembered in pop culture, so we're going to be putting this in pop culture. Okay, so these next two films are not going to be good, but I promise you we're going to get to another good film after these two. So let's just start with these two. So next up on the list is Hurry Up Tomorrow. Now, I thought this movie would succeed given that it's The Weekend and given that the heavy inspiration for this movie was Purple Rain. And I know I might sound hard on this film, but the only great thing to come out of this film was the cinematography. That's it. And the only takeaway about the cinematography was the constant strobing. That's it. I don't have epilepsy, but I felt like I was gonna have a seizure. All the other stuff about this film makes me want to not see this film anymore. In fact, I don't know why I went with my dad to go see this movie, and I don't know. I didn't really see where Trey Edward Schultz's direction was going, given that his previous films provided great direction. But I just didn't really see where his direction was going with, Jenna Ortega, Abel Tesfaye, Barry Keoghan, actors like that. And that's also the thing about The Weeknd, who's now being known as Abel Tesfaye after this movie. The thing is, he doesn't have good acting. He doesn't have any acting whatsoever. He had bad acting in The Idol, and he has bad acting in this one. In fact, this reminded me of The Room when Tommy Wiseau was like, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." It's actually a good thing my screensaver came on because honestly, I don't want to talk about this movie further, but I gotta. And I really feel that Jenna Ortega's character should have been executed more into the story. And I feel that this just wasn't really a good movie. So I know this might sound like it's going in hot garbage, but it's not. Because I like the cinematography. That's it. Nothing else. So we're going to be putting this in Don't Bother. Next up is Lilo and Stitch. Now, I'm currently waiting for this one to be added to Disney Plus because I've seen all these TikToks explaining the whole meaning of the movie, which I kind of missed on because I wasn't really a fan of this movie when I saw it in the theaters. So, we're going to go with my initial thoughts and feelings of this movie. So, I really do have problems with this new plot that David Fleischer Camp directed. And I really feel that it wasn't really necessary to make changes to the story. And I also feel that it wasn't really necessary to take Captain Gantu out of the film. Like, y'all could have just copy pasted his animation and then turned it into 3D. I get that's really expensive, but come on now. I feel the themes of staying together forever aren't really well represented in this movie, which I get, but not everyone can get it right. And I wouldn't go to San Diego State University to study marine biology when Hawaii has great education programs for that. That's like me going to the East Coast to study film when here in the Golden State, film has great programs here. And also, I wouldn't betray my sibling for it. I know this sounds like we owe an apology to Snow White, but that is far from it. Snow White sucked. This is way better than Snow White, I'll tell you that one. And Snow White got 1-2 punched by Minecraft. So this might sound like it's going in trash, but it's not. We're going to be putting this in Don't Bother. Okay, I need to take a deep breath after reviewing Hurry Up Tomorrow and Lilo and Stitch real quick. Let's talk about the next one. Next up is Karate Kid Legends. Now, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about this movie, and, I really do understand that, but I really loved this movie, and I love Ben Wong as the lead character. His acting in this movie made the show American Born Chinese feel like it never existed. Although, in all fairness, it was a really good show, just not really good enough. I love the fusion of karate and kung fu in this movie, and how they adapted from the original Karate Kid and they adapted from the 2010 Karate Kid. And the love triangle between Lee and Mia, I love that so much. It had some really heartbreaking moments when it came to Lee having PTSD when his brother got taken to the hospital after a brutal fight, and Lee having to relive that when he had to take Mia's dad to the hospital, which I get. That's like really heartbreaking. And I know people despise the playlist used in this and how it came from TikTok and everything, but I don't mind it. I think it's pretty cool. Although the only song from the soundtrack that's from TikTok that I don't like is Mystical Magical from Benson Boone. I just don't like him. The fights were epic. Everything about this movie is badass. Now, I get this isn't canon to Cobra Kai and the 2010 Karate Kid movie, and I get it. And I really like how Jaden Smith was not in this movie because of, well, he had some controversy outside the 2010 Karate Kid movie. But I know people have some mixed feelings about this movie, and it's okay to have your own opinions. Like I said, these are my opinions and my opinions only. So we're gonna be putting this in pop culture. Next up is Elio. So here's one thing I will never get about movie lovers and cinephiles out there. They despise modern Pixar. Why do y'all despise modern Pixar? Like, is it the animation, the stories? Tell me. This movie gave me heavy Lost in Space and 2001 A Space Odyssey vibes when you count for the space aesthetic and the space location used in this movie. And I know you guys might be shocked about the vibe comparison to it. It just felt like a space mission. But, like, making friends with aliens and everything. I want to make friends with aliens. I love the direction from Domi Shi, and not only her, but her directing partner Madeline Sherifin. The direction was really good. This touched on the message of loneliness really, really well. And with Glorden not wanting to become like his dad. As well as Elio choosing either extraterrestrial life or his tia Olga. I love the song that was used in this movie called Once in a Lifetime by Talking Heads. And during the scene in which Elio and tia Olga are hugging each other, I was playing in my head Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. This film almost made me cry. I don't even cry during movies. Why do I keep saying that? Maybe I just want to fit the vibe of movie theaters. I don't know. I know people are hating on modern Pixar for no reason. To be honest, I don't know why they're hating on them, And I get there's a lot of Oscar gold potential here, but I'm not going to be disputing that. This is going to be a nominee for Best Animated Feature, so we're putting this in Oscar gold. Next up is How to Train Your Dragon. Now this is the definition of a live action remake. I love seeing CG dragons in a live action environment. In fact, I might have mentioned this in my Minecraft review, but I'm just going to mention this again. Seeing CG models in a live action environment is beautiful. Like, nothing will beat it. And I love how DreamWorks kept the story as it is from 15 years ago to now. I love Gerard Butler reprising his role as Stoic the Vost. And I love Mason Thames as Hiccup. I was kind of hoping to see cameos of Jay Baruchel and America Ferrera since they're the original voice actors from the original film, but it's unfortunate that they couldn't make it. I also love the supporting cast of Vikings with Julian Dennison, Bronwyn James, and Nico Parker. They had some pretty good acting. This is overall a big middle finger to Disney, and DreamWorks showed Disney how it's done with live action films. Now, I'm going to be putting this in Oscar Gold because I really feel like there's some Oscar Gold potential in this. So that's where we're going to be putting it, Oscar Gold. Next up is Mickey 17. Now, this is another movie that I missed out on back in March that I'm lucky got added to streaming. So 6 years ago, Bong Joon-ho released Parasite, and he got all the acclaim, including winning Best Picture and becoming the first international foreign director to win Best Picture. Man, that sounds like pure poetry right there. And 6 years after Parasite, he made an alright film that's adapted from a book of the same name. It might not be as good as Okja, Parasite, Snowpiercer, but I mean, it's alright. The actor I'm impressed with in this movie is Robert Pattinson, and he is so great at using accents. Like, he's so great at using accents in Twilight, Tenet, and this movie. Like, I don't know how he does it. He even did good with the accents in Boy and the Heron. Is he a great actor? I think so. I feel this movie ties into how we see U.S. politics when it comes to Mark Ruffalo being portrayed as a corrupt leader in a spacecraft. Steven Yeun, I feel, was a waste of a casting choice. We only get to see him in small parts, and I don't really see him as a supporting actor. Naomi Aki, I'm surprised. She was a great supporting actress in this movie. I did not like her role in Blink Twice, but I feel like this is redemption for her. There was a lot of good comedy in this film, as well as great execution from Bong Joon-ho, but I feel that he kind of needs to improve after Parasite. Now, some people say that the book called Mickey 7 wasn't really that good and that Bong Joon-ho made this one a really better one, but I only see it as a better one, not a really better one. So we're gonna be putting this in It's Alright, and you guys probably guessed that because I've been saying It's Alright so many times. Alright, to finish up and to go into halftime, our last film to talk about is F1. And I cannot wait to start talking about this one because this one was really epic. Now, this has a case for movie of the summer right here. I know we need to get through Fantastic Four First Steps and Superman, but look, this is already a qualifier for movie of the summer. 3 years after Top Gun Maverick and 19 years after Cars, Joseph Kosinski directed a badass movie right here. This also gave me heavy vibes of Ford versus Ferrari. And Gran Turismo as well. I love Brad Pitt being an F1 racer as well as the supporting actor Damson Idris. And love Javier Bardem as an owner of an F1 racing team. I love the use of Freytag's pyramid in this movie when it comes to the inciting event, the climax, the falling action, the resolution, the exposition, everything about this movie. And also the butterfly effect as well. The racing scenes gave me heavy Cars vibes, as well as Ford vs. Ferrari. This movie is great. I love it, and I feel that it is a front runner at the Oscars. I see Brad Pitt getting nominated for Best Actor, Damson Idris and Javier Bardem getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I see this getting nominated for Best Sound, Best Cinematography, and Best Director, and probably Best Picture as well. So I know the Academy Awards are going to be here until March of next year, but it's never too early to predict. So we're going to put this in Oscar Gold. That's all for the second quarter and the first half of my 2025 film binge. I saw a lot of films compared to the first quarter. I think it's just because all these films have a lot of hype potential for me, well, besides the ones that I didn't really like, but regardless. I did miss out on Phoenician Scheme, Accountant 2, and Materialist, but I can always stream them. And as of the time I'm making this video, I cannot wait to talk about K-Pop Demon Hunters, Superman, Fantastic Four First Steps, Together, Naked Gun, Bad Guys 2, just to name a few movies. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Follow me on my Letterboxd and my Instagram to catch up. And I will see you guys in the next video.